Hey everyone, Noodle here. Today I want to share with you the most underrated and arguably the most important loadout in Fallout 76. Is it a sniper loadout? Is it a power armor loadout? Archer? Heavy gunner? No, these are all gameplay preferences. The one and only truly ultimate loadout that every one of us needs is the crafting loadout. Whatever your gaming preference is, you probably have a loadout that suits your needs. But if your loadout is tuned for combat, you are wasting valuable resources and slowing yourself down if you're also crafting in that loadout. If you don't already have this magical thing called crafting loadout, buckle up. This video is about to change your life. I have 2 loadout slots. Pretty standard. I wish I had more, but for now, I just swap things out of my secondary slot. It's my multi-purpose slot. You can buy extra loadout slots if you can afford it, and actually, I highly recommend that you do. An extra slot is 500 atoms in the atomic shop, and looks like I can actually afford it, but I'm saving my atoms for something that I think is coming to the atomic shop soon, so I'm gonna hold out for now. 2 slots is enough, but with 3, you can have multiple gaming loadouts ready to deploy. For instance, for bloodied and non-bloodied builds, for power armor and non-power armor builds, an archer and a rifleman. The possibilities are endless. If you have more than one favorite weapon, which is pretty much all of us, you need a separate character build for each of them for best performance. Me, I'm a flamer gal. I love my holy fire and my newfound love, the cremator, which is now officially called overkill. So my main loadout is sculpted specifically for a full health flamer player who never wears power armor. My secondary slot has always been reserved for the crafting loadout, which I equip when I build camps and craft weapons, armor, cams, and ammo. Oscapt had me make a crafting loadout back when I was just a young level 20 pup, and I kinda always took it for granted. I switched to it like a good girl when I worked on my camp and then switched back to my heavy gunner. Well, lately, I've been making character build videos, and for those demos, I sacrificed my crafting loadout, and it's all for a good cause, so no regrets. But over the past 2 or 3 weeks, I've built several new camps, I've been running the new story mission, and of course going through the whole Fasnacht madness, all without my crafting loadout. And I gotta tell you, the pain is real. I am always low on resources now. I even had to ask Oscapt for his wood on my last camp build. I find myself actually going out and scavenging for resources now because my resource producing camp items are no longer enough for anything. I'm always low on fuel. I just feel like I'm running on 40% of my potential and spending more time trying to craft things instead of playing the game. So it's time to rebuild my crafting loadout and get back to being productive again. It's important to understand that every single crafting loadout will be radically different, depending on what it is that you tend to craft. And why is it so important to have crafting cards in their own separate loadout? Well, because of space limitation. If you equip all of these crafting cards, you won't have enough space for your ass-kicking cards. And the other way around. When you're out kicking ass, you don't need to waste valuable perk slot space on things like Scrapper or Fix It Good. Let me show you what I mean. Let's take a look at my perk cards. In my crafting loadout, I have intelligence maxed out. I'm able to have 15 points in intelligence because of this legendary perk card that I've also already upgraded. So if you're going to make one of these crafting loadouts, start by maxing out your intelligence. In intelligence, I have chemist. Very important if you craft any chems at all. Oscapt and I make things like berry mentats on a regular basis. Contractor is super important to me. I built what, 3 camps in the last 2 weeks? 4 camps? I build a lot, so this is one of my main cards. I have Weapons Artisan maxed out, repair any weapon to 200% of normal maximum condition, super useful. Scrapper, obtain more components when you scrap weapons and armor. Full Circle, scrap more, get more, use less in crafting. It's all connected and it all adds up. Fix It Good, maxed out. This is another one that's not for camp building, but rather for armor repair. When I know I will be using an armor bench, I just switch out to my crafting loadout first. Over at White Spring, that's super easy to do. That room that has all the workbenches also has a loadout changer right in the middle. It takes just a couple of seconds to switch out. If you are in your camp or a workshop, or even in your teammate's workshop, you can bust out with a loadout changer for free. That's right, it costs 0 resources to deploy one of these, so there's really no excuse not to use it. For my last 2 cards in Intelligence, I have Science Expert and Armorer. And these are my replaceable cards. I have a bunch waiting on the sidelines depending on what I will be doing. These are for special occasions, rare occasions. You can swap in Gunsmith, for instance, or Powersmith. Again, this is all very personal. I rarely use my power armor, but when I do, I like to be ready with these cards. You may be rocking power armor all the time. In that case, you probably want this as one of your main intelligence cards in your crafting loadout. Science, Science Expert, Science Master. For me, these are interesting cards, but they're very instance specific, so I don't have them in my main hand. Science is also needed if I want to use laser turrets, but how often do I do that? Oscap does it all the time, me, hardly ever. So not a major card for me, but still good to have on the side. This loadout is going to be your workhorse. It's also going to be messy. It doesn't have to be well tuned and pretty like your player weapon loadout. Looking at the whole thing, a lot of this is filler. Intelligence cards are really the main ones. Then I have things like Green Thumb and Butcher's Bounty over in Perception. Some of you won't really care much for these. Home Defense is an excellent card in Agility. I keep that one in all the time, because when I do need it, it's great just to be able to build advanced turrets and traps. I never use this in my camps, but sometimes I like to bust out with expert defenses in my workshops. Over at Luck, some of these cards carried over from my previous build. I don't actually need them at all, I'm gonna take them out. Super Duper is a super card though. I use this one all the time. Make sure to have this equipped when crafting food and ammo. Sometimes you'll get double what you aim to craft, and that's awesome. This card alone is a huge game changer for me, especially when crafting ammo. Good with Salt is pretty neat. This way your ingredients don't spoil when you're crafting. Can Do is great for finding pre-war food. That's a daily sometimes. You can scan trash cans around White Spring, for instance, and find much pre-war food in the trash cans. A couple of other cool side cards are in Endurance Home Buddy. Kind of a passive card, allows you to heal slowly when in a workshop or camp. That certainly doesn't hurt if you're already there building or something. Might as well get some R&R. And Slow Metabolizer, where food and drink are absorbed more slowly. Also doesn't hurt. I always forget to eat and drink when I'm working in my camp, and then I end up listening to my angry empty belly. Much like when I forget to eat and drink while working on a video all day. As you can see, I had to stick something in strength for 1 point. It doesn't really matter what, it's filler. Charisma, who cares? You're crafting. Just stick anything there. It can't hurt. You may not even realize how many unnecessary resources you are using if you craft, cook, and repair things while in your regular loadout. I didn't feel the pain until my crafting loadout was missing for a couple of weeks. Resource management is a huge part of Fallout 76, and it's very easy to get bogged down by the lack of ammo, the constant chase for that one resource that you're always low on, having to stoop down to asking your friends for crafting materials. It's just sad. Don't suffer needlessly like I did for 2 weeks. Set up a crafting loadout that's just there, waiting for you. And when you're about to craft, repair, and all that fun stuff, simply switch out to it. It does take a little bit of discipline to remember to do this. Oscapt, for instance, reliably forgets to switch back out of his crafting loadout. And then he's like, "Why am I so fat? And why can a bloatfly kill me?" So yeah, I wish we could just switch loadouts from our pit boys, but we can't. This is what we have to work with. And in my opinion, it's kinda worth the pain. I switched back to using my crafting loadout yesterday, and today I already feel the difference. It's like a weight has been lifted. So give this a shot. If you have a slot that can use a makeover, do it. If you have the atoms to buy a new slot, do it. But one way or another, get yourself a crafting loadout that suits your personal needs. And start spending more time enjoying the game. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful and inspirational. If so, give it the thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel if you don't already. Share this with your friends if you have any. Just kidding. I'm Noodle Pants, one half of Gamer Aviator. And until next time, stay safe out there, Vault Dwellers.
In the heart of West Virginia, where the shadows creep and sway, lies a land of rusted dreams, where the brave dare not stray. Appalachia, oh, it's a treacherous ride, with dangers untold and nowhere to hide.